Adult Swim's Primal. We're going to talk about why the designs work. Spoilers up ahead, maybe. Welcome back to AsArt. My name is Nick, and I got Kyle with me. By the way, check out Kyle's Instagram, Petco's with the 0. Awesome, amazing artwork. And he is here to help break down the shapes, the designs, everything when it comes to Primal. Not everything, but I guess design-wise.
Welcome, I'm back,
Kyle.
Baby, and I'm ready.
Yes, and he's back. For all you guys who know who Kyle is, give him a lot of love down in the comments down below. He is back. We're all happy to have him back. But now, let's jump into some Primal. So we're just going to talk about things that work really well in the show. There's a lot. I think right now, just for this first video, we're just going to really be talking about design, like why the design is so strong compared to other, maybe not even other shows, but just why this design works so well. So let's just jump into it. Let's talk about our main character, Spear.
Yeah.
And I always just see a box.
Yes. Yeah. So this also leads me to like some other stuff too. Like I'm pretty sure he's not a Homo sapien. He's more like a Cro-Magnon type. Oh. So like he's got this like really boxy, build because he's technically like a less evolved human, right? He's still a human being. He's just kind of like what came before Homo sapiens, right? Oh. So like okay. That's why we've got like even like everything down to his hands, right? Like how like when it shows his hands, like they're really boxy, like rectangular and stuff, right? And I feel that's just like, even down to like how he's like, sectioned with his legs and his arms. Everything's like this, either very rotund or just this box, right? Yes. And like now that we've seen other humans, right, in different tribes, we kind of see his stark contrast between him and like other cultures, right? Yes.
And what's really cool, whenever I see that box design, I always think of Looney Tunes and like the mafia guys. There's always like a big dumb block character that's like the muscle, right?
Hey, Muggsy.
Not to say Spear's dumb, exactly. But that block shape is just like muscle shape, and also in the new Into the Spider-Verse, Kingpin is just basically a walking square with a head and some arms.
And like even though it's a box, it's still, think about it, it's a very imposing figure to have, right? I mean, like you mentioned with Kingpin and stuff, same thing with Spear. He's very imposing, right? It's just like these straight lines for shoulders, kind of like barely any neck. You're kind of like a human wall in that respect, right? So it's rather,
it's a wall, basically.
Yeah. He is the immovable object.
And then now, like you were saying, we're talking about season 2 stuff. So if you haven't got this far, go back, watch season 1, and then come back. Highly recommend this show. It's super beautiful. It's totally worth the watch. But now he interacts with other humans, or Homo sapiens, I guess you can say, because he's more of Neanderthal.
So, something along those lines. Yeah.
And it's really cool because we're totally getting Viking vibes.
Yes. Yeah. Especially with Eldar and his father. Right?
Yes. Okay. The whole chase sequence. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, I mean, like, also just like how they portray ethnic features. So like the chieftain lady that got killed in the massacre on episode 4. She had this like very like, I called it like a very Scandinavian nose. It's short and it's sort of like raised up amidst this like really like round but like slab of a face, right? And she's just like, and she's like really stern. Like she was really cool. Like she was like one of those like she's like a shield maiden like sort of thing, right? And it was really cool. Plus, like with just the other designs of just the bear warriors and stuff.
Yeah.
And her husband, like those noses are just like these like just huge, like just like the noses are almost weapons themselves, right? Because they're just like so imposing. But like and like some of them would have warts on them and stuff. Yeah. And that was just have these cool touches to it.
And then what's cool too, because we saw 2 different tribes basically.
Yeah.
And one of them I noticed was very blue in design. And the other one's more had a red. And obviously there was more violence with the red one than there was the blue one, where the blue one, they were really trying to negotiate deals and peace and like, hey, here's food. Like, we want to feed you. We don't have any harm. You know, they're like really trying to make friends. With the other ones was just like, hey, bears are just attacking you right outside your cave.
So I call them the Celts. Just because how they looked like in their cultural garb, and like also their language. If you pay attention to how it sounds like they're speaking their native language. I don't know what like Genndy Tartakovsky like did like in terms of that research, but I'm like, that sounds like it's Celtic or like a Pictish or like some sort of Gael sort of language family, right?
Yeah.
Same thing with the Vikings. I get a very Scandinavian sort of like phonemes with it, which is really, really cool, right?
Vidar. Yeah.
And
especially
so, like,
that scene when they're climbing up the mountain.
Exactly. And also like the tribe themselves are like really burly and like huge, right? Yeah. Whereas the blue tribe is more lithe. They're like quick and agile. Like you get that sense, especially with the leader that gave Spear the food. He was running on the tops of the house, like, you know, like, so I get this sense of like these swift hunters, right? Yeah, it's just really cool how you see the differences in those two peoples, right?
And their logos too. I don't know why I say logos, but but it's really cool because they're symbols. You have like a blue sun, and the other one's like a red sun, but with like a scorpion tail.
Yes. So I think that's, so this is just my theory also, but this is cool how like the symbolism in the show, in the designs, is also like giving us hints as to what might be going on. So it leads me to believe the tribe with the blue sun, you know, subscribes to a certain sort of belief system or religion. And the Vikings do have an offshoot of the same religion because that red sun looks similar, but also we have the addition with like the scorpion claws and the tail coming down from it, which leads me to believe that there's some sort of either offshoot religion or they've been influenced by another power of some kind, whether that be supernatural or another human type thing. We still don't know. We also still don't know, other than that, we know that, you know, the Vikings used to take slaves, right?
Yeah. Well,
like
at least the red tribe one,
right? Yeah. And there has been a theory that they might be taking people for whatever that horned demigod looking guy is in the fire. They might be forced into doing that. Right?
Yeah.
But so we don't know. Like, we'll just have to keep on.
Yeah,
watching.
We're getting some more supernatural stuff in the story too, which is super Samurai Jack almost vibes. With like demons and stuff like that, which is fun because it'll be a lot of fun to see Spear and Fang face off against a demon.
Also, one thing I really like, I've seen it with Spear the most, but you also saw it in the Primal Theory episode 5.
Oh yeah.
Is like it's interesting because the eye shapes are not usually what I'd expect from a lot of cartoons. So you very clearly see where the lids come to a point on either end, right, and then kind of bow out, especially with Spear as he's like whenever he reacts like wide-eyed to something, and that's really cool because you don't see that often, right? At least in mainstream,
especially in recent animation stuff too,
right? Yeah, exactly. But still, it's interesting because like this is like a really well animated show. Especially during the action scenes, my goodness.
The timing is spot on.
So like, and that's the thing. I mean, Tartakovsky, everything's so dialed, especially his audio.
Oh yeah.
Right. His audio, like his sound design has all, even like, you know, even in obviously Samurai Jack is exemplary of that. Then you have Powerpuff Girls and Dexter's Lab even had that.
Yeah.
Right. Like where like, there's no dialogue. The environment is doing all the acting, right? And that's of course in spades here as well, right?
Yeah.
Even I believe the only intelligible word, at least to an English-speaking audience, has been the name Mira, right? Yes. Which is a name, not necessarily a word of any particular English language, you know.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Like I think that also, like in terms of design, like what is heard is also really like has really made an impact.
Yes.
So,
and then let's just touch on that, I think it was episode 5 again, the Primal Theory episode.
Yeah.
he did such a good job even connecting the same designs as Spear fighting the other Vikings.
Yes.
And he did such a good job just with connecting the stories, and also how we're all primal at our core. If we get pushed to that limit, you see this, this guy slowly descend into primal rage just so he can live or survive.
Yeah. So like, I know we might be getting off topic here in terms, but like, I love that discussion because I can tell like, this is definitely like, this is more of an adult show because their argument, essentially what they're saying, and of course they're speaking in a Victorian era, which had its own sort of subsets of like, sort of like theories and beliefs as what a proper gentleman and man should be. Right. And so like, that one guy, that younger guy is making the argument that, well, look, we still have our hardware that we're operating on from ancient times. Right. And we have society as this veneer, as this software, right. Overlaid on it. But it still doesn't change what's deep down at the spinal cord, right?
Yes.
Or the brainstem. And so, like, we have these Victorian ideals clashing with this very Darwinian, like approach to it. So like it was really cool.
And visually, it worked too. Like you can obviously try to make these points, but the visuals with it just hammered the nail. Like it was just like right on target. Like such a good job. As you can tell, we're huge fans of the show. We want to do more breakdowns. We're even thinking about getting more into overlay breakdown stuff with shapes and stuff like that. But let us know what you think down in the comments down below. If you like the series, if you don't like the series, why you do or why you don't, and maybe even other good animated shows we might be missing out on. I know we watch Arcane, and we're big fans of Arcane, and we also like Castlevania. I mean, come on, those are some good shows we like. So if there's any other shows we're missing out on, let us know. And go visit Kyle on Instagram, Pekkas with the 0. Super talented artist. Go check out his amazing art. Let him know you came from AsArt. And if you go to asart.space, you can find audio and video links and cool shirts we've been working on. Kyle's designing some shirts too. So go there, check it out, support the channel, and we'll see you on the next AsArt.
Nice. Okay,
I know. The dude, it's so beautiful. I can't stop thinking about the backgrounds and